That sound is horrible. I mean, what do you think about the Drain Eye, dude? Why not Human or Dwarf to remove, like, you know, Devouring Plague or something?
If they're just worried about trying to survive through burst at one point, you know, it could be a good idea just because it is an extra hot.
Having Battle Master and stuff would be pretty nice too. But anyway, we'll see how it's going to go out. I think this is definitely going to be a tough matchup for this Cleave team, but it's really just going to come down to how much pressure they can get out. I mean, if they can really shut down this Shadow Priest or the Mage, it could be working out pretty well for them. We're going to see the Feathers. Shadow Priest going to be sprinting, and they're going to get the Fear immediately down onto Jim. The damage going to be coming out onto Voltarius Axe as the Cyclone does land onto Volkovich. Livin looks like he is going to be the target here for this team. Alter Time immediately coming out. Voltarius in some trouble already. It is a Fire Mage as well. It's that Fire Mage God Comp. We do see the Touch of Karma has to come out immediately from Voltarius there. He's trying to get the damage back onto Livin. Livin is surviving pretty damn well so far, but the Ice Block comes out as that Rising Sun kick did connect, and he got dipped very, very low. The Ice Block has been canceled now. The swap comes in over onto the Shadow Priest, at least for now. There's the Fear over onto Voltarius, who could be in some trouble. He doesn't have that touch. He doesn't have his Trinket either now. So Trinket, Nimble, Touch, everything is gone. There's that Cloak of Shadows basically coming out from as well. So pretty much every Monk defensive is gone now.
Yeah, you can see that Jim doesn't have his PvP trinket available. He does get put into another bash. There's just so much CC going on to him, but they're kind of using all their CC DRs when his team is just completely healthy. Take a look at the Monk. Well, actually, as I say that, he takes quite a bit of damage. Combustion is up on him as well. He's going to hop on over onto the Mage.
Bubble comes out from Jim, so the last major cooldown from him, and they're going to be in big trouble next time these cooldowns are coming up. The Monk is going to have to survive till that Touch of Karma comes back up, or he's going to have to kite very, very well. There's the full Fear onto Jim. We'll see if Voltarius is going to be able to survive here, or if they can put the pressure back over onto Livin. Rind right now is going to be incapped. He's going to be sitting through that. No PvP trinket available for him. We can see Dragon's Breath coming out, going to connect on both the melee there, but Jim is out of CC right now, doing a fairly good job healing his team back up. Going to be caught into the poly though. MCS comes out on the Voltarius. There's the Devouring Plague as well. Clone over onto Volkovich, and Voltarius is having to kite away. Jim now into the silence. The healing orb is being spammed out here by Voltarius, trying to stay alive. Jim trying to get back over to him, but he's now put into the Cyclone. Voltarius still in so much trouble. 5 seconds until Touch comes up. Touch actually does come up right now. He's going to throw that out immediately to be able to survive for now, but still Jim is just in an endless CC chain. He's into the bash, he's into the Fear. Is there anything coming out after this? Voltarius down to 100k. He does have that Zen med coming out, just trying to reduce his damage as much as he possibly can. There's the Aura Master used on the MCS. Wings comes out from Jim as well, and they are going to be able to top him back off. Incap coming out onto Rind there. Livin now the target under pressure. We'll see if they're going to be able to get anything going, because this Cleave team does have their PvP trinket back up now from Jim. So, you know, they actually survived. They kind of weathered the storm.
Yeah, that was actually some beautiful, beautiful CC chaining. I'm actually a huge fan of that. Let's take a look at our Mage now. Our Fire Mage is trying to get some more damage out onto the Monk. The Monk is just kiting him around though, and that's pretty much the story right here. Is S's Palette, you can see he's sitting in the Cyclone right now. Our Monk is just
look at the swap though over on the DK. There's the Deep Freeze plus the MCS. He's not going to be able to AMS that. He's in so much trouble. 50k. I think he's just going to go down. AMS. Oh my god. The pets that comes out. Trinket is used there by Jim. Jim actually going to bop himself. He has his Guardian out as well. So the last major cooldown used there from Jim. He is going to be caught into the sheep. They thought they had a kill. You could hear them shouting out for that kill, but they weren't able to finish him off. Fear now coming in onto Jim. Volkovich still in a lot of trouble. Voltarius into the clone, and there's not nearly as much self-healing here for this DK. He's out in the middle of the map. I think this is going to be it as the full clone does land on Jim. Volkovich down so low, 50,000 HP. He's going to go down. Livin, Rind, and Sad are going to be able to take game number 1 here on the Grand Arena, and we have seen just how impactful that first game is.
I'm actually so impressed. That was beautiful CC by Livin, Rind, and Sad.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Like today's always like seeing people checking in with us, and you can check out Conrad here at ConradNAO on Twitter. And Playing with Fire now, once again, already up a game. The scoreboard is actually backwards, but it is going to be Sad, Livin, and Rind. That is Playing with Fire. They're going up against Jim, Voltarius, and Volkovich. And we are going to see, I think there's actually a way I can swap that, but I'm not quite sure how. I'll get that figured out. But anyway, We do have them starting off. We're going to see Sad TR grabbing the feathers, looking to try to get in there early on. Not going to be able to just yet, though. The in-cap coming in on a Sad. They're going to be starting off on Livin once again. So they do want to try to go onto this mage. Didn't have the most success with it last time, but now is actually a swap over onto Rin. They're going to try to go hard onto this Druid. Gargoyle has already been popped. There's actually the Trinket immediately on that Deep Freeze, as Volkovich was taking quite a bit of damage. No, my mistake, I think it was actually dispelled. There's the Sheep now coming in on Volkovich. We do have a clone coming out onto Voltarius, and it is double healer. They're playing double healer. They're actually playing double healer DK. I didn't even know they could swap after one game, but anyway, it is going to be double healer DK. We'll see how this is actually going to work out for them. I'm kind of shocked by that. But we do have Rin now. They're trying to get back over onto him, and it looks like I think that is going to be who they're trying to tunnel pretty much the whole time. Livin taking a little bit of damage. Jim has not really been CC'd too much yet this game, though. Doing a pretty good job. Now the Deep Freeze, the MCS comes out onto Jim. Jim could be in a bit of trouble. It does actually have to use his shield wall there. I'm not sure if he Aura Mastered or not. The frames seem to be locked on Rin right now, but Rin going to be popping the Iron Bark, going to be taking some damage himself. NS is coming up right now. There's the in-cap over onto him. Livin taking quite a bit of damage, down to about half HP. We do see the Trinket coming out from him. NS going to be coming out from Rin once again. Innervate being used very, very early as well. Just trying to keep that mana topped off, and in a game that could be quite a long one, it's pretty smart.
Yeah, I don't think this game's going to end until dampening kicks in, by the way, around the 10-minute mark. So it's going to be pretty slow for now, but it will start to get exciting at that point in time. The real story is going to be the DK. He's the only damage dealer on this double healer team. Yeah. Can they chain some CC onto the Druid, perhaps get an early kill? Possibly, but it's unlikely. I'm really feeling the dampening on this one.
Yeah, I definitely think it is just that's their strategy. I think it's literally just a dampening strategy. Jim is playing Turn Evil, though, so he does have that Turn Evil Fear. They have some CC. I mean, they have Turn Evil Fear. They have, obviously, Monk CC coming out as well. There's a Silence over onto Jim. He's going to Trinket that as Voltarius was actually cloned up, and the Trinket comes out from Volkovich. So, I mean, I think that's what they're going for, is dampening, but we'll see if this God Comp could get enough cross CC. They could actually finish them off. There's the Fear onto the Monk, Sheep onto Jim. Do they have anything to follow that up? Volkovich could be in some trouble. Now the full Sheep comes over onto Voltarius, full clone over onto Jim. Volkovich is in that kind of 3v1 situation, but the damage is just not coming out fast enough. And unless they can actually just erase him and burst him down, they're never going to be able to get a kill. With consistent pressure against a two-healer team. It has to be that perfect cross CC, the deep MCS, and just blow him up.
Yeah, you really have to do Cyclone plus Polymorph at the same time, or another thing that could happen is our Paladin and our Monk could have a huge mistake and get feared by a single Shadow Priest fear. Shadow Priest does get put into a Hodge, by the way, but it's not terribly a big deal. There's actually cross CC going out right now. Fear and Counterspell.
Here's
and
the swap onto Jim. Yeah, the MCS comes out, Devouring Plague as well. He's actually going to be able to get dispelled out of that by Voltarius. The shield wall does come up there from Jim. He's going to be able to kite out of there, and that cross the spell. We see how effective it is, but Voltarius, he does have to use his Trinket there, so the Trinket is gone. Jim has no Trinket as well. No one actually on this team has a Trinket available just yet. So, maybe they can actually force something out here. We'll see what the God Comp can set up. Rand actually just drinking up to full right now. And, Sad, the Shadow Priest, looking to get that CC coming out. There's the Fear onto Jim. We did see the Dispel comes out immediately, or maybe just broke to dots because there was an MCS over onto Voltarius, and they're looking to get the damage going on Volkovich once again, but not able to get too much out on him. We see Ring of Peace coming out there from Voltarius, just trying to pressure Rin as much as he possibly can. The Gargoyle's out as well. Rin just doing a good job kiting out of there, and really just has to play it safe. I honestly don't even think it would be a bad idea to kill the Gargoyle against a team like this. It is shackled up right now, but the Gargoyle's such a huge source of damage, and it's only the DK doing DPS, so even killing that is honestly not a bad idea at all. There's the Asphyxiate now coming out onto Rin. That Gargoyle is actually cloned up, so they did a good job CCing it instead of killing it. They had the Shackle, they had the clone, doing a good job with that, and Jim in the meantime being pressured once again. We can see that Combust is up. Devouring Plague did come in as well. The full clone on Voltarius out of that Dragon's Breath. Jim though sitting pretty, has his Trinket available, looking like he's A-okay.
Yeah. Just going to be a little bit slow for now. The DK is trying to kite away, it looks like. Trying to run behind that pillar. Nope, never mind. He gets put into a full Polymorph. You can see, though, mana bars, everyone seems to be doing pretty fine. Rin is going for a drink right now. Jim is at about half, but I really don't see him running anytime soon. He's probably just playing pretty relaxed right now, expending as much mana as he wants. He knows he can go for a drink whenever he really cares to, as long as it's not like when all the cooldowns are up. Nothing scary like that.
Yep. And I think Livin was trying to go for a setup there, but it wasn't able to get it just yet. Now it does come in. Deep freeze MCS. Jim going to have to bubble that immediately.
I like that.
Tried to hold on to the trinket, but he is going to pay with his bubble. And I think that is the right choice. You know, if you hold the trinket and then you get that low, you have to just bubble.
Yeah.
You know, if he trinketed there, he would have had to bubble anyway. It would have ended up costing him both. But we see the burst potential coming in from that God Comp. They could end this game, you know, very quickly, but at the same time, Voltarius does still have his trinket. Everyone actually on their team has a trinket right now, so that is something that they're going to have to work through. They're going to be able to have to get through all those trinkets, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. There's the blink on that Hodge. MCS comes out on Jim. Silence onto Voltarius. They're looking to get the damage going. Offensive block there from Livin. We do see Voltarius feared up. Jim is going to get hit with the Devouring Plague, but not too much damage coming out. He actually shield walls there, but no deep freeze was used, so they may be able to capitalize on that. Livin, though, under some pressure, having blocked offensively like that, you know, we do see Volkovich go right back over onto him. He's trying to kind of get some pressure out onto him. Crackling Jade Lightning even coming out there from Voltarius, trying to get the damage rolling. And we'll see if he's going to be able to help contribute with that. Nice Dragon's Breath catching 2 members of the team. Is going to be able to get Livin back to full HP. And honestly, I don't think he was ever really in too much danger. But now comes the swap over on a Jim. This is it. The Deep Freeze comes in. MCS goes out. That's going to cost him the trinket from actually both. So actually a pretty big mistake there. Voltarius and Jim both trinketing. They only needed Voltarius to trinket dispel that or Jim to trinket it. Yep. And having used both now, that's something that this God Comp could definitely capitalize on. And that's the kind of mistakes that can cost you a game.
Very true. You know, I do like the choice for the DK to be sitting on the mage, because if you think about it, he is a person you'll be stopping damage from if you're hitting him, as well as stopping CC. You hit the Druid, you can stop the CC and prevent a little bit of healing.
Here comes that swap, though. There's a clone. Immediately, he pre-Aura Mastery this pretty nicely done. The Deep Freeze comes out with the Aura Mastery up, reducing that damage. We do have the shield wall out of that as well. He's going to be fine. Well played there by Jim, immuning the CS on that Deep Freeze. And we do see Crackling Jade Lightning coming out onto Livin. Livin actually getting pretty low here as Rind is being pressured. Needs to get some heals, actually down to 160k. I don't know if he's going to go down. Zwen is out there doing work right now. Voltarius taking some damage himself. Volkovich is going to be sheeped off, and I assume that Livin is going to be able to get top back up here. Now in comes the Frost Shot. I think he's looking for the Deep Freeze. There is that Frost Shot. Will he Deep Freeze off of this? It looks like he wants to. Yep, there's the Deep NCS. It's going to be immediately dispelled by Voltarius. Very quick, fast fingers on that dispel. Well played by Voltarius.
Very, very, very beautiful. Voltarius currently hanging out on the backside, trying to just chill, get his team back up. Sad, he's doing okay. He's trying to get some pressure out, but there's really only dots up onto Jim. Polymorph is out onto our DK of Volkovich right now. He's going to be connecting over onto the mage. The mage trying to kite away, Living doing a great job of his own namesake. But the question is, how long can he keep that up? He gets gripped back in. He's actually in a little bit of trouble here. Necrotic is stacked. How much damage is he going to take from this Soul Reaper?
He's actually going to have to block.
Yeah, wow. Nice, that was some great pressure.
Yeah, nice to see on Rin as well. The Turn Evil you can see is sitting through that, but Rin did hold his trinket. So, you know, do you think that was a little bit too greedy, maybe? I guess they're kind of just prioritizing Rin's trinket above the ice block. We're seeing the swap over on Jim. He's taking some damage. Trinkets are available for everyone, but there is no bubble. We do see the Life Cocoon coming out, though. Now a trinket from Voltarius. Jim still in trouble. That Life Cocoon broke instantly. The amount of damage this God Comp is putting out is pretty insane. And now the offensive clone comes in there onto Jim. So some great pressure coming out from this God Comp, and they're striking back against this double healer DK team. Rin now going to be the target here for Volkovich. He's trying to get over onto him, trying to put out as much damage as he possibly can. The Shroom is going to be popped to deal with this Necro Strike, and Rin just going to be able to kite right back out of there. But he did use both Bark Skin and the Iron Bark. Not going to have those available now. The Deep Freeze over on a Jim. That's going to cost him his trinket. Shield Wall goes out as well. Bash over onto Voltarius. Will the clone be able to come off of that? The NS comes out. I think he actually NS cloned into the immunity from the Monk there. So pretty big mistake from Rin. Unless that was an NS heal that I missed, it could possibly be that. But it looked like he was trying to NS clone off of his Bash, and I think he just did it a little bit too early.
Yeah, a little bit rough for them, no doubt. Even if he did either of those, it's still rough to not have your Nature's Swiftness available, especially as we get closer to the dampening point.
Trinket's gone from Rind, and Livin is in some trouble. So, I mean, could they get the CC they need over onto Rind to actually kill Livin off? This double healer GK team is looking pretty real, man. Iron Bar coming out there. Rind down about half mana now. You know, dampening is going to be coming in and starting to do some work. And as you said, it could get pretty rough during that. Jim and Voltarius both sitting pretty on mana right now. We do see that the Ring of Peace comes out, the Tracking Jade Lightning being put out into Livin as well, and Mistweaver Monks can actually do a fair bit of damage. The Tracking Jade Lightning is no joke, and there's the Fear and the MCS onto Voltarius, Silence over on Jim. They're going hard onto Volkovich, who does use his AMS, and I think he's going to be fine with that. And I mean, what do you feel about this choice to make a swap over onto Volkovich, who had all his cooldowns after spending so much time trying to work through them on Jim?
I think if you're going to be going for a target in a double healer setup, you pretty much just have to train them and try and get all the cooldowns out of that target specifically. I mean, you can't just swap to the DK once a minute and then he blows AMS and you're like, all right, we're good. We'll go back to him in a minute when AMS is back up. That's just, you're not going to win the game that way. So yeah. I would definitely say tunnel one of the healers.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many cooldowns to work through. And now, as we see, Volterius has his trinket back. Livin is in some trouble here. Rin still doesn't have his. Down to half HP. Tranquility coming out. Will it be enough? He's going to get grip back on that blink. He's trying to get out of there. Nice blazing speed. I do believe that was. He's able to kind of just zip away. Sad is going to be actually incapped up. Rin getting a lot of heals out. Livin going to be fine. We do see that Turn Evil comes out onto Sad off the incap. It's going to be dispelled into the Hodge, though. Good CC, honestly, coming out here. Volkovich into the deep freeze. That's going to be dispelled off by Jim, though. Gargoyle has been popped. They're looking at Rin. Rin pops the Heart of the Wild immediately. He's taking some damage. Livin is pretty low here as well. Volterius actually going to catch a Pyro himself from Livin. Livin is just kind of trying to spread some damage around right now, but it just feels like the God Comp is falling further and further behind as Rin does have the Iron Bark expiring. He's at half HP. Livin's at half HP. Everyone is starting to run. It's just the DK doing damage.
Yeah. Livin's trying to be killing right here. He's at about 140k HP, forced into a block. Nice pressure coming out from our Delver healer team. I do like that.
Yeah, man, they did a very good job there. We can see Volterius was actually just harassing Rin, spamming those hamstrings on him, looking for pummels, just kind of standing on top of him and just trying to be generally very annoying. And he did a good job of it, actually forcing out a lot of cooldowns there from this team. So, so far, so good for this double healer team. We'll see how things go looking forward. Volkovich going to be put into the DR clone. Now they're going to look back to Jim, but Jim has all his cooldowns back up. He's looking for the Turn Evil. He's going to be able to get it. Bash comes in onto Volterius. Jim at half HP. We'll see if he's going to be able to heal himself back up. Gets the Div Light off there. Guardian has been popped with Guardian. He's going to be fine. He does go right back to full. Trinket's still up for Volterius and Jim. No trinkets available across the board here for playing with fire. Livin going to be taking some damage. Does he have an Ice Block available? He probably does. I'm not quite positive about that. He did use 2 so far in the game. The game has been going long enough. I think he should have his Cold Snap block, unless he did use that earlier just offensively or something. But Volkovich caught into the clone, things kind of slowing down a little bit once again. Both teams have healed themselves back up. There's the deep freeze MCS though onto Volkovich. It's gonna be dispelled. I just don't really like going on the DK, but maybe they know something I don't.
Well, there is cross CC right now. He doesn't have AMS for another 15 seconds. If they can get a polymorph onto the monk right now, no, our monk is gonna not be polyable at this point. Well, that was pretty close, I think.
Yeah, well, and they do get the life cocoon. Yeah. They get the Lichborn. They also get the trinket from Jim. So I would say pretty successful, attack there onto Volkovich. Livin though in some trouble, and the only issue is just, can they actually get through all these cooldowns? As long as the double healer DK rotates their cooldowns properly, it feels like they always are going to have something available. Trinket's going to be available next time they're in trouble. Volterius is going to be feared. There's the sheep onto Jim. That broke immediately though. MCS onto Jim now. Volkovich taking some damage here. Someone's got to use something. Deep freeze comes out. There's the trinket from Volterius. Will it be enough? Looks like it should be, as he is back up to 300k. Nice clone though on that trinket. Wings comes out from Jim. And now the offensive clone onto Volkovich, trying to shut down that healing, trying to deny those heals coming out from the Pally and this monk. But the CC is going to expire. They're going to be able to get him back up. But again, they get another trinket. They get Volterius' trinket this time. So the God Comp is working through these, and and sticking to DK is working out pretty well for them actually.
Yeah, the thing that they're doing now is when they're hitting this DK, they're not just getting AMS from the DK, right? They're getting the whole team's cooldowns. They're getting PvP trinkets. They're getting life cocoon, stuff like that. Jim is going to be getting a little bit of a sip. He's a tired guy. He's trying to get, he's quenching his thirst. Volkovich put into a full deep though. Double silence on both of his healers. He has to pop AMS, trying to put some more pressure out, but he's going to be taking so much damage. Combustion did go out right there. Trinket was on the monk, or Cyclone on the monk. Now it's Poly on the monk, Fear on the Paladin. He's in a lot of trouble. He needs to start pillar kiting, but he's sort of hanging out in the middle of the open right here. Yeah. He's going to be a Cyclone. Paladin did have to pop his bubble, but I really feel like in situations like that,
wow. You die in situations like that.
Yeah, you should be running behind the pillar.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get taken down, man. And actually, a lot of damage coming out at the end. Volkovich had used his trinket. No one had a trinket available. And, They tried to pull out this comp. It's not going to work. It's going to be a 2-0 now for playing with fire. Well played to them. Didn't expect to see double healer DK coming out. I thought it was one of those things where
Real talk, I actually predict so much stuff, and I never get any credit. I predicted so many things. There have been patches where I'm like, oh, this comp's going to be good. And you've told me you're an idiot. And you know what happens? It ends up being good. Do I say anything? Do I say, oh, look, I was right? No, because I don't need that.
He's just saying right now.
Yeah, well, my confidence is down recently. All right?
Going through a hard time. But anyway, guys, the gates are going to open up. It's going to be Tiger's Peak. Voltarius, Volkovich, and Jim have to win 3 straight if they want to stay alive in the upper bracket here. Hashtag Road to BlizzCon. Livin, Sad, and Rind looking to finish things off, move one step closer to that BlizzCon end.
Let's see. All right, we have our DK. He is going to be trying to connect to our Shadow Priest right here. Grips him back in. You can see our Monk trying to do damage too. Our Monk's taking a little bit of damage from our Mage, from our Priest. Only 2 dots up on him so far. Cyclone goes out onto the Monk, and Silence goes out onto Jim. So they're going to be trying to put some pressure onto this DK. They put him in a deep and inside of a Silence. He's going to have to trinket an AMS out of that. That is huge. So now the cooldowns are mainly going to be coming from the Paladin. But look at this DK's health. He's still in a little bit of trouble. He does get picked back up now. But so many cooldowns right off the bat. Really nice job from our God Comp team.
We did see Shadow Fiend and everything come out there. They did use quite a bit offensively. Gargoyle is out now as well. They are getting some damage going, but Rind, sitting with the Fear Ward, sitting with his Trinket, Heart of the Wild's up. He's looking good. And now there's the MCS onto Jim, into the Poly. There was actually, I think it was sacked, or it could have been broken by a Living Bomb. Not really sure what happened there, but the Ore Master did come out. The Sheep immediately broke, unfortunately for them, because that could have been a pretty big moment. Now the sacrifice is over on Voltaire, so it must have been actually a sacrifice that did break that Sheep. So well played by Jim. Into the bash, though. Volkovich could be in some trouble. Deep Freeze comes out. That's going to be actually the bubble coming out there from Jim, as you can see that forbearance now. So Jim blowing through that bubble. Volkovich is going to be okay as a result of that, but IBF came out there. Bubble came out there. If they can get a good CC chain on a Jim, I think this could spell the end of the game. And so far, really, they're not forcing enough out of this God Comp.
Yeah, you are correct, my friend. Check out the Monk. Oh my goodness. Nice tumbling. Excellent tumbling. Our Priest is dipping pretty low. He's down to half HP right now. He's going to actually have to pop his Disperse. I don't know if I really like that. Rind wasn't crowd controlled or anything, so it's kind of questionable in my opinion.
The fact of the matter is he's taking so much damage, dude. And there was necrotic strikes were striking up very high, so
that is true.
I think it was fine. And Rind now getting pressured, Livin getting pressured. Jim, Volkovich, and Voltarius don't want to be out of it just yet, but now this is the trouble time, man. The MCS plus the Deep Freeze comes in. There's the Silence over on a Jim. Volkovich taking some damage, but not nearly as much coming out there as the pressure was pretty high, and Voltarius did a good job shutting down the DPS from this team. Now Livin in some trouble. He's and he's trying to cut it out of there. The Iron Bar comes in. He blinks out, but he's going to get Grip right back in, looking for that Poly. Sad, going to be hodged up. There's the Asphyxiate over on a Rind. Livin blinks out of there. Could be the second Ice Block coming out from him. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. There is that second Ice Block. Jim, Volkovich, Voltarius looking strong in this game. Ice Block going to be canceled out there by Livin. Looking to get some more damage rolling. But should he have just maybe sat through that because he wasn't completely top? Looks like he's going to be okay for now. I think the Shroom was just used there. Did he just... Oh, okay, he altered. Never mind. He didn't blink. But look at the damage coming out on the Voltarius. We just see the Dragon's Breath out of that. That was Pyro Spam coming out. And Jim still needs to top his Monk back off. The... Mark comes out actually from Voltarius, so he's going to have that Touch of Karma coming out there and is able to put some damage back with it. There's no Ice Block to remove that Touch of Karma, so actually a lot of trouble here for Livin. He's going to get gripped away. Nice life grip by Sad, but he's going to be death grip right back. And we do see the in-cap over on a Rind. His Trinket is almost back up, but if they could get some CC on him, maybe they can make something happen. But now the Silence coming over to Jim, clone onto Volkovich. That's Trinket immediately. He needs to help Voltarius out, and he's going to do so. Yeah,
a pull between life and death right there for Livin. He's still being tunneled into at about half HP. Necrotics are stacking. Soul Reaper is up on him. He's got the Pyroblast proc, but he's not able to do too much damage right now because he's taking so much. He's worried about CCing more than he is about doing some damage. But that's what happens with the Cleave teams. You sort of crowd control them by doing damage. If they get a leg up on you, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we do see the Fear coming in on Jim. There was a defreeze onto Voltarius. I believe it must have been nimbled, and he got out of that, I think, immediately. Jim does bop himself out of something. The Guardian is up as well, so he should be able to top his team back off. But the full Sheep does come in. Voltarius is going to be in some trouble. He needs to kite out of there. Dragon's Breath going to be landing onto him. Sad is topped off by Rind, and now we see Voltarius running for it. He's going to be MCS. The Devouring Plague was up there. He was able to dispel it off himself. Good job by Voltarius. Aura Master coming out from Jim. Volkovich going to be popping that Gargoyle, and we do see that Voltarius drops his port back behind the pillar. He did just kind of jump across the map, kiting very, very well. The clone comes out over onto Volkovich. Jim not out of not out of the woods just yet, but his trinket's coming back up. So, you know, they're looking okay. And Rind, honestly, is getting very low on mana. Mana's actually becoming a concern for him this game.
Yeah, it is. That's a great point. He does have his Innervate. There is a Cyclone going out onto the Monk. He's going to be put into a Deep Freeze out of that. A lot of pressure going out. Cyclone onto our Paladin. He doesn't have a trinket available. He did just use it.
There's the Karma, though, dude. He does use that Karma. And was it blocked off or anything? I don't actually see the debuff up on anyone. Maybe it just broke through. But Livin taking some damage. Voltaire's going to be sheeped off briefly. Will be healed back up with that. Jim did use his trinket. Going to throw out the Dispel immediately. Catches that VT Fear, unfortunately for him. Rin, though, sitting at 100k mana. You know, he's doing okay. We see Voltaire's trying to get back over onto Sad. The Fear comes out onto Jim though, and now Voltarius is thinking better of it. He's going to run back behind the pillar. Volkovich, though, is out in the middle, and it looks like they're going to go onto him. There's the MCS. Deep Freeze going to be to follow. He's in some trouble. Silence comes over on Jim. This could be it. Devouring Plague coming in. Will he be able to survive? The AMS goes out. The Lichborn heals are coming in as well, and Volkovich going to heal right back up to full. The clone does land, though. Voltarius taking a little bit of pressure. Livin under some damage as well. He gets the Frost off. He's looking for that Poly. He's not going to find it just yet. VT Fear going to land onto Jim as he does throw out the Dispel. Offensive clone coming in there onto Voltarius, trying to shut him down a little bit. PvP trinkets back up for the DK and the Monk, but still nothing left for Jim.
Oh, big damage going out onto Rind right now. He does get life gripped away. That is going to save his life, but he's back up now. Looks like he should be fine, just trying to pick himself up a little bit more. Deep Freeze goes out onto Voltarius. He's taking so much damage here, down to about half life.
Yep.
Trying to pick himself back up. Drops his port. He's throwing out those fists, and they are furious, man. They are furious. Livin taking a decent amount of damage. He's picked back up. 2 full, though. Necrotic strikes are stacking. Throws out the nice Dragon's Breath. Trying to CC once again. But the thing that's happening this game that's not happening this game that was happening in our first game is a CC onto Jim. He's just avoiding it so much more. I don't know if it's the map or maybe he's just got the land jitters out, but he's doing a much better job of avoiding the CC chain.
I also have to give a lot of credit to ZPS, though. I think they're putting out a lot more pressure, and that's making it harder for them to push in and get that CC on Jim.
But the question is, what came first, the chicken or the egg here?
Jim did. But anyway, we do see the Deep Freeze coming over on Volkovich. There's the Fear over onto Jim. MCS comes out. That's actually a trinket immediately from Jim on that Fear. He's going to be silenced up. Will the Aura Master come out? I don't think so. It's looking like Volkovich is okay for now. Livin, though, in some trouble. Going to pop the Blazing Speed, trying to get out of there. Will he be able to do it? Voltaria is still putting a lot of damage into him. That's going to be an Ice Block. Fairly preemptive, but Rind was actually feared on his trinket there, so nicely played by Jim. Gets the Turn Evil off onto Rind, and, you know, could be some trouble here for the team as the Gargoyle comes out. Sad's in some trouble. I think they should just go back to Livin, though, who has no block. Rind going to be actually the target now. Rind is getting that Tranquility up with the Heart of the Wild, but they're right back onto him. He's low on mana. He's half HP. The NS does come right back up. He's going to have to use it immediately, but there's Volkovich getting so low. Volkovich may go down. 90k HP. Will he be able to survive? 80k HP. Clone on Jim. He does get out of it. There's the bubble. The Guardian comes out. He's going to be able to top him back off, and they need to take advantage of this. They're going to be okay for now, and they need to get a kill. Rind in some trouble. 50k HP. Will he go down? He's back behind the pillar. He's trying to survive. The Swiftman does come back up. Voltarius down to 50k HP briefly, though, as he was getting bursted very hard. Now the Sheep comes over onto him. Rind does have his Innervate in 5 seconds. He needs to survive. He needs to keep his team alive through this, and it looks like they are stabilizing. Sad taking some damage, but they're doing a good job kiting. He's spamming the feathers. He's getting over there, and there's the Disarm into the Fear onto Jim. The grip came out too late there from Volkovich, and that could spell the end of the game for his team. The MCS comes in. Volkovich going to be in a lot of trouble. He's down to 250k HP. Do they have the follow-up they need? The Sheep comes in onto Jim. What do they have after that? The Silence, unfortunately, totally overlapped with that Sheep. The Clone going to be coming in now as well, but Volkovich looking like he's okay. Rind going to be caught into the leg sweep. Rind in some trouble here. He may be going down. He gets life gripped away. The Barkston does go up, but he is not out of the woods just yet, man, as he's very low on mana.
I think they would have so much more pressure. Nice triple Fear right there. Wow, excellent move by our Shadow Priest of Sad. Look at our DK down to 200k HP. A Cyclone goes out on a Jim. It is half DR. Volkovich down to 100k, 80k. So much damage. Combustion does go out. 1 health, and he will end up falling. But wow, okay. There's a slight possibility that Rind may die here, but I highly doubt it considering there's a Shadow Priest and a Mage
I think they're going to be okay, but we'll see. They are definitely going to play it out. They need to win this right now. Oh my God, the Rising Sun here comes in, and he's going to be able to actually take him down. Voltarius and Jim now, I think, in a huge advantage, honestly, with Jim having his trinket back up, and Rind just got absolutely erased. He still had his PvP trinket up, didn't find the opportunity to use it. Now the burst coming in onto Voltarius. MCS silence onto Jim's trinket. Voltarius could be going down. The Devouring Plague out on him. Will he be able able to finish him off. They need some more CC on Jim Jim. It's not coming out just yet. The touch of karma does come out there from Voltarius, and I think that should be enough to keep them alive. Living in a lot of trouble. He's down 100K. He's probably going to be going down here, and he's very, very low. 50K, 40K, Sad very low as well here, and I think that Voltarius is going to be able to do it here. There's a Rising Sun kick. That is going to spell that. And a nice comeback. Jim Jim and Voltarius not giving up, dude. And you can see the smiles on their faces.
Dude, we had almost counted. We both like sat back in our chairs a little bit, like trying to readjust for the camera and whatnot. Little commentator secret, don't tell anyone. But yeah, we were that game, it looked so over. I'm really happy. I love game
against playing with Fire, who is at match point. Playing with Fire, going to be Rind on the Druid, living on the Fire Mage. And it's going to be Sad playing that Shadow Priest. We'll see if they can clean it up here. You know, definitely, I'm sure a little bit disappointed that they didn't just end the series on the last one, but still in a good spot. They have their map choice. Sad, going to be sprinting in there right away, looking for that fear on Jim Jim. Jim Jim's on the mount. He knows what's happening. He's getting out of there. Actually, very smart by Jim Jim to remount. I don't think too many people would have done that. And he avoids the fear, so well played. And now Sad is actually in-capped on the other side of the map, but he has infinite feathers. He's very fast. He's going to get that fear out now. Deep MCS onto Volkovich. Big damage coming out onto him. Sacrifice comes out from Jim Jim. He actually is going to be able to break his CC with that as well. Gargoyle being popped here also now. Volkovich, you know, it didn't have to blow his trinket, but Jim Jim did. We have to keep that in mind. It is going to be Rin getting trained here, and this is kind of what I expected. Runes really is that classic healer Zerg map. We do say Heart of the Wild already popped there by Rin. He's doing a good job keeping his team top back off, and what do Voltarius and them want to do now? It looks like they just want to keep running right back at Rin, but, you know, Voltarius can catch back up to him, but can Volkovich? That's the question, man. They both need to connect here. When that next stun comes back in, we'll see what's going to happen. Nice Shadow Meld, kind of a little juke out there by Rind. Gets in a bear form, gets away with the sprint. Jim Jim already having used his bubble as well. That's the downside of going on Rind. They're not stopping any CC whatsoever. There's nowhere for Jim Jim to LOS. There's no damage being stopped by his DPS, so he's kind of being left out to dry, man. Rind still has his trinket, and they're in really a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Bubble and Guardian and AMS were used, and they chose the CC during those 3 cooldowns. So overall, I'm really liking the play of our God comp. I am going to say they're probably going to take this game, especially with the huge damage going in onto Volkovich. Frostjaw goes off onto Voltarius. Polymorph goes out onto Jim Jim.
Jim Jim's caught in the full fear. Lichborn heals are coming out. Will they be enough? I'm not sure. I don't know if the CC is really going to end. They need to stop any more coming out. There's the silence. Can't do anything about that. The Lichborn heals have done good work here for him. Wings is going to come back up. There's the full clone, though. Volkovich does have the AMS coming just back up now. He's trying desperately to stay alive. He knows his his winner bracket hopes here are resting on this game. There's another sheep onto Jim Jim, though. The CC's still not ending. Now the bash comes in. Volkovich still sitting low. Full fear now onto Jim Jim. That's how it started off, and I think that's how it's going to end. The MCS comes out onto Volkovich. 200k HP. He's getting out of there, though. Voltarius doing a great job healing him up, actually, with those healing orbs. A deep freeze comes over onto Voltarius, and now there's a full clone onto Jim Jim. Barely gets that heal off. The Dragon's Breath comes out a split second too late. It catches both, but it's not going to matter, and Volkovich is going to go down, and Jim Jim just did not get to play the game at all on Rin's Lord on, and dude, and that was really, I think,